welcome back. It's another square day today. In my last video I did mention about doing a square. I've decided not to do that video because I'm still not convinced I've got the memory for it, and it's quite an intense stitch, and I think you would need more time to actually be able to understand that stitch. So what we're actually going to do instead is a different stitch. We're going to do one called the V-stitch. It's also a bit of practice in doing the double crochet or triple crochet. Again, use American terms. That's how I learned. It's kind of easier that way. I find it easier that way. I'm going to start off with what you actually need. So we're going to go through a couple of bits. We're going to start off with crochet hook. Again, I'm using the usual 4mm hook. We have got some yarn. I'm using the petrol for this one. Scissors. Sorry, bent tip tapestry needle. Some scissors. Couple of stitch markers. And just fell on the floor. Pencil and a notepad or a row counter. I've got loads, but I never actually get them out for a video for some reason. So once you've got all those bits and pieces together, we can make a start on our next square. Okay, let's get started. We are going to chain 16 plus 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 16, and then we're going to do our turn-in chain, which is 3. 1, 2. Okay, so we're going to start with 2 double crochets in the 5th chain from hook. So we don't count the stitch that's on our hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to do 2 double crochets. So yarn over, go through the stitch, yarn over, draw through, pull through 2 and pull through 2, and then do the same again. Yarn over, into the stitch, yarn over, draw through, pull through 2, pull through 2, and that's our first stitch. We're then going to skip a stitch, which is this one, and then do the same into the next one. Yarn over, into the stitch, yarn over, draw through 2, let's do that again, into the stitch, yarn over, draw through 2, draw through 2, yarn over, through stitch, draw through 2, draw through 2. Miss a stitch, go into the next one, and we're basically going to do this all the way along. Miss a stitch, go into the next one, draw through 2, and that's another double crochet. Miss a stitch, go into the next one, draw through 2, draw through 2, miss a stitch, go into the next one, miss a stitch, go into the next one, and then we're going to finish with 1 double in the last stitch. So that is our first row of the V-stitch. Okay, so that's row 1. So now we're going to move on to row 2. And for this we are going to need our first stitch marker, and we are going to start by chaining 3, then put the stitch marker in that 3rd chain, turn the work, and then in between this V stitch we are going to do another V stitch, which is simply 2 double crochets. We're not going to chain or anything, we're just going to keep on going through, just doing 2 double crochets into each V stitch along. Find the V stitch. Crochet is quite forgiving, you can put it around and stretch it. Crochet is actually very forgiving. If you miss a stitch or forget to put a stitch in, you can always add one in later. The amount of times I've done a triple crochet when I meant to have done a double crochet, or half double when I should have done a double. It's very forgiving. So I've just got to the end of the row, and I'm going to do a double crochet into the top of my chain 3, and then to do the next row, chain 3 and turn your work. Get your stitch marker and pop your stitch into that 3rd chain, and you're good to go again. Now I'm going to go through and do all of this. You're just repeating the same thing over and over again. So I'm going to go off, finish off this. I'm going to come back, let you know how many rows that's been, and then show you how to weave in your ends. It's going to be slightly different this time because we haven't got as many stitches to work into. Actually, I'll see if I can get to the end of this row, because then I can show you how to use your stitch marker to find your stitch. Try that again. One more into there. Another one. And then we just want to double crochet into this chain 3 space. Not in the space, sorry, in the actual chain 3. Find the stitch, pop your hook in. Take your stitch marker out and use it for the next row. I'm going to go off, carry on that. I'm going to let you know how many rows it's been, and then weave in the ends. Okay, so this pattern is actually really easy to keep track of in terms of how many rows you've done. For each V is 1 row, so if we look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've done 9 rows in total. And that is how it looks. So what we're going to do now is we're going to weave in our ends. Now, it's slightly different with this because we haven't got as many stitches to work into. So what we're going to do is we're going to work along the posts of our stitch. So I've threaded up my yarn onto my needle, and we're literally just going to go up and into the post. Now, I've heard somewhere that the rule of 3 is the best way of doing it. So what we're going to do is we're going to work in 3 different directions. So I've worked up one, I'm working down another one. Now you want to keep it tight, but you don't want it so it deforms the shape in any way. And then we're going to work back up this way, but I'm not going in the same area that I came out of, I'm going somewhere else. Up into that stitch. Now I always like to come out along the edge of the work, because with this particular thing we're going to be sewing these up and putting them into our whatever we're going to make with all of our squares. So the ends are going to be hidden by sewing them in anyway. But if you're going to be doing a border, then if you bring it out to the end, then the end can be covered up by the border. It saves it coming out from the middle of the work somewhere, which doesn't look that nice. I'm going to have to do this off camera. There we go. And we're going to do the same thing again with this one. We're going to go down the stitch. I'm actually going to go further into the second stitch on this one. Sorry, I'll keep knocking the camera. Now I'm going to go back up, but I'm not going in the same hole I came out of. And then I'm just popping it out on the edge of the work. And there you go. That's our next square done. And just as I said it, I've run out of memory. Right. This week's square. Just managed to get it in before running out of memory. Next week we're going to be working on a 2-colour one. It's going to be a shell pattern. So that's going to be next week's square video. So until then, like and subscribe, leave any comments you'd like in the comment section below to you when I can. So that's it for now, so I'll see you later. Bye.